Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're embarking on a really incredible historical journey. It feels like something ripped straight out of an epic drama series.
It really does.
Our guide is this amazing 11th century text, the Tariq-i Bayhaqi, written by Abul Fazl Bayhaqi. We're diving deep into the story of Hasanak the Vizier, his meteoric rise, and the intrigue that sort of brewed around him, eventually sealing his fate. If you enjoy those intense power struggles, the betrayals you see in shows like The Crown or maybe Game of Thrones, I think you're absolutely going to be hooked by this.
Yeah, and what's so compelling, I think, beyond just the drama, is the setting itself. This isn't just any old story. It's unfolding in the Ghaznavid Empire's court, which was incredibly opulent, yes, but also deeply, deeply treacherous.
Right.
Understanding this specific time and place, this political landscape, it's absolutely crucial for getting a grip on the raw power dynamics. You know, how fortunes could be made seemingly overnight.
And lost just as fast.
Exactly. Utterly destroyed. So our mission, if you like, for this deep dive is really to trace Hasanak's journey from pretty humble beginnings to immense power, but also, crucially, to uncover those early, subtle signs of trouble, the seeds of intrigue that foreshadowed his dramatic end.
Okay, so let's try and transport ourselves there. Imagine it's 1010 CE. We're in Ghazni, the capital of the Ghaznavid Empire. Bayhaqi, our guide, he paints this vivid picture, calls it a city where empires clash and fortunes are made. You can almost feel that energy, can't you?
Definitely.
Picture this, Sultan Mahmud's palace, gleaming white marble, intricate gold and turquoise decorations everywhere. Silk carpets, the air probably thick with the scent of jasmine and oud, that rich resinous smell drifting in from these lush gardens.
Luxury.
But it wasn't just the palace. Outside, the bazaars were buzzing, just humming with life. You'd hear camels, the bells jingling, caravans rolling in from India, China, unloading spices, silk.
All that trade, yeah.
And maybe the sound of new flutes, that sort of haunting sound coming from coffee houses nearby, maybe some drums too. It feels like a place just teeming with possibilities, but also, danger.
And right into this world, this high-stakes environment, steps Hasanak, our central figure. He's a young man, and surprisingly, from a modest family back in Nishapur.
Not court nobility, then.
Not at all. Bayhaqi describes him quite strikingly. He says Hasanak was a man with piercing eyes, a steady frame, and a mind sharp as a blade. So despite his background, it was his intelligence, his boldness that really made him stand out.
He starts small, though, right? A clerk.
Yeah, a young clerk in the court. But he had these very specific skills, a real knack for organizing complex trade routes, managing accounts meticulously. And this caught the eye of Sultan Mahmud himself.
And Mahmud, he wasn't just any ruler, a major figure. Powerful warrior king, conquest from Persia to India. What does it tell us that someone with, what might seem like boring admin skills caught his eye?
That's a great point. It tells us a lot, actually. Mahmud was a conqueror, sure, but he clearly understood that empires need more than just soldiers. They need efficient administration to survive, to thrive.
Right, the logistics.
Exactly. Hasanak's skills weren't boring at all in that context. They were fundamental. Streamlining taxes, making sure trade caravans were safe, managing the finances for this huge empire that's critical stuff. It supported Mahmud's campaigns.
So practical skills mattered.
Immensely. It shows that even in these, ancient courts we might imagine as just brutal power plays, a smart ruler recognized merit, especially in vital areas like finance and logistics. It kind of transcended social standing. It's a timeless lesson, really.
Yeah.
Bayhaqi puts it beautifully, captures the spirit. In Ghazni, where ambition could lift a man to the stars or cast him into shadows, Hasanak dared to dream.
And his rise was, fast. Really fast. Meteoric, you could say. His work, especially nailing down those tax records, securing the caravans, it just proved invaluable.
Crucial for Mahmud.
Absolutely crucial in earning the Sultan's trust. And then comes this pivotal moment, a lavish ceremony, where Sultan Mahmud declares Hasanak his vizier. Now, for our listeners, what did being vizier actually mean? How big a deal was this?
Oh, it was huge. Being vizier meant he was essentially the chief minister, the prime minister, the second most powerful person in the entire empire, reporting directly to the Sultan. He oversaw pretty much all administration, all finance. For someone from Hasanak's background, astonishing.
Wow.
Imagine the scene Bayhaqi paints. The throne room, just a spectacle of power. Golden pillars gleaming in torchlight, courtiers everywhere, decked out in silk robes, jeweled turbans. There's this hum in the air, drums, maybe those knee flutes playing.
Right.
And there's Hasanak, dressed now in this striking turquoise robe, golden sash, kneeling before Mahmud's throne. His voice, steady, clear, swearing the oath. I serve Persia and its king with my heart and my life.
Powerful stuff. And the reaction?
Well, the crowd applauds, naturally, but Behaki hints, if you look closely, you'd catch these sharp glances. Envy, pure envy among some courtiers.
Oh, the green-eyed monster.
Definitely. And one figure stands out. Abu Sal-Zuzani, an older vizier. Behaki describes him long beard, cunning eyes, managing this thin smile that barely hides his resentment.
Okay, so the seeds of trouble are sown early.
Immediately. But Hasanak, as vizier, he gets straight to work and makes a huge impact. Ghaznim's fortunes transform. Markets boom, more caravans, the empire's treasury fills up.
So he was good at the job. Really good.
Exceptionally good. But Behaki notes his confidence grew too, maybe too much. He writes, Hasanak walked as if the world bent to his will.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, this confidence may be tipping into pride. It started to rub people the wrong way. Whispers began, among the court nobles. This man, this upstart from a humble background, he's acting too much like a king.
So his greatest strength, his confidence, starts looking like a weakness or at least a provocation.
Exactly. His Achilles heel, perhaps. And just as this is happening, Sultan Mahmud's health starts failing.
Ah, the succession question looms.
Precisely. The court starts buzzing. Who's next? And the main contender is Mahmud's son, Masood. Now, Masood is known for being young, fiery, and not exactly patient.
Okay, setting the stage for conflict there. How typical was this kind of jockeying for position around succession in the Ghaznavid court?
So, succession was always a dangerous time. Loyalties shift, people trying to back the winning horse, intrigue ramps up. The Ghaznavids were no different.
Standard procedure almost.
Pretty much. But what makes the situation particularly volatile is Masood's personality, clashing with Hasanak's whole approach. Hasanak was fiercely loyal to Mahmud's vision stability, a unified empire, careful administration, strategic growth.
The long game.
Right, Masood. He was impulsive. He wanted immediate military glory, less interested in the complex diplomacy or the administrative nuts and bolts that Hasanak excelled at. They were just fundamentally incompatible.
Which put Hasanak in a really tricky spot.
A very precarious position.
And I can almost picture it, like a scene from the text. A tense council meeting. Hasanak, being Hasanak, boldly advises against some risky military adventure Masood is pushing for. And he gets what? A glare.
An explicit, unmistakable scowl from Masood, according to Behaki, a very public display of displeasure.
Was that common? Such open disagreement between a top official and the heir apparent?
Not usually so direct, no. Hasanak's boldness here, it's that double-edged sword again. Shows his conviction, his loyalty to the empire's true interests as he saw them, but it's also a direct challenge to Masood, whether he meant it that way or not.
And someone was waiting in the wings to exploit that, wasn't he? Abu Sal-Zuzani.
You guessed it. He saw that rift, that scowl, and pounced. Skillfully, subtly at first, he starts spreading whispers. Hasanak's too ambitious? Maybe. Maybe he's not even loyal.
Wow.
And he plants this incredibly damaging rumor that Hasanak secretly supports the Cormatians.
Okay, wait. The Cormatians, they weren't just some minor group, were they? Why was that accusation so potent?
Oh, absolutely not minor. The Cormatians were a radical sect, seen as heretical, anti-establishment. Their beliefs were completely opposed to the Sunni Ghaznavids. They were known for rebellions, disrupting the empire.
So basically accusing him of treason and heresy in one go.
Exactly. It was incredibly dangerous, a calculated move by Abu Sal. It aimed to destroy Hasanak, not just politically, but morally, religiously, to paint him as an enemy of the state.
And Behaki gives us that chilling line from Abu Sal, muttering to another courtier, this low-born vizier dreams of the crown. That just speaks volumes, doesn't it? The paranoia, the ambition.
It really does. It shows how personal jealousy gets weaponized in politics, how competence itself can be twisted into a threat. And the fascinating thing, Hasanak seems to have just dismissed it all.
He ignored the whispers.
Largely, yes. Maybe he was blinded by his own success, his confidence, maybe just too focused on actually running the empire. He seems to have had this massive blind spot for court politics, for the scheming.
Focused on the work, not the game.
Precisely. Which leads to that really poignant scene Behaki describes. His loyal friend, the scribe Ahmad Khwarazmi, he tries to warn him. He says flat out, Ghazni is a nest of vipers, Hasanak. Guard your back. A clear warning.
And Hasanak's reaction.
Prideful, unshaken. Bayhaqi says he basically laughed it off, responded something like, "I serve the Sultan, not the whispers of cowards."
Oh, Hasanak.
It says so much about his character, right? Maybe his fatal flaw. That overconfidence, that belief in his own righteousness, it stopped him seeing the danger coiled right there beside him.
Yeah, it's almost tragic, like watching someone walk towards a cliff edge.
It's a timeless story, isn't it? Believing you're untouchable because you're doing good work. It doesn't always protect you in a world of treachery.
And Bayhaqi ends this section with that really evocative image. Hasanak walking through the palace, the marble halls, sun setting, casting these long shadows that seem to twist around him like snakes.
You can feel the dread building.
Absolutely. So here he is, Hasanak, at the absolute peak of his power, his star burning incredibly bright in Ghazna's golden court. But, as we've clearly seen, lurking in those shadows, envy was sharpening its blade. The strike feels almost inevitable.
Indeed. And this story, it's more than just ambition and betrayal, isn't it? It's the stark reminder that, well, in any power structure, huge competence can, paradoxically, breed huge resentment.
It's not always rewarded.
No. It shows that political skill, managing how people see you, understanding human measure, envy, that's often just as vital for survival as pure talent or hard work.
The tough lesson.
It is. So maybe a final thought for you, our listener, to chew on. Would you trust a leader like Hasanak? Someone whose boldness built an empire but also stirred up so much envy that he couldn't even see the danger right in front of him. It's about the complexities of power, isn't it? And human nature. Lessons that truly haven't aged a day in 1,000 years.